Thinking, I got one of the things I do, like would be good for you guys up here, is I do the 20-pound braid. I don't usually fish under 16 or under 20 because 16 it'll start backlashing a little more. It's so thin and the wind catches it, you'll get like wind backlashes, or you'll just override and they'll catch a loop and stop, which basically wastes. I mean, it's just like fluorocarbon. Braid's the same thing. If you cast a couple times and it hits that spot, it always hits the same spot, can break really easy. I mean, it's almost just like fluorocarbon. But I do a braid on a jerkbait a lot because, if you're throwing a jerkbait a lot all day, it gets, even me fishing constantly, you start to get those pains. It's hard. With the braid, it's about half as hard. It's about half the work to move the bait the same. So there's actually a lot of guys doing it now, but I've done that for quite a while. And I'll just do like a 20-pound braid. I use the SX1. That's good. That's a sunline braid. I use about that much leader. But when you tie your knots on, usually I go off the spool and just kind of pull it off and then tie my knot on. And you want to give yourself enough line when you tie your knot. You have about that long a leader in between the bait. And I don't like that. The reason I do that, I don't like to cast the jerkbait, the leader through the guides, because I really fire it. And any knot, I've never had a knot hold up. So I will snap it too hard. And usually there's 110s, you can throw them 130, 140, 50 feet sometimes. And that just, when you get a really super long cast, and instead of having to rip it really hard to get that way out there, and if you get bit, you miss them sometimes, it's just like, it's the same thing if it's like right there. So when you're jerking, you can get that bait with the same boat, you can get it to move a ton all the way back to the boat. It's just like it's 5 feet from you, there's no stretch. So that's why I do that, and and it works really good. I caught my Zona show doing that. It works, and it doesn't seem to spook them or anything in the braid, but it just makes it easier to do, and you hook them better.
So you put 20-pound braid
and longer casts.
For jerkbait for 110 vision to what line? What weight of line?
If I use 20, and it depends how you're catching. If it's kind of tough, I'll use like 14, but usually I use like 16 or 20 leader. And the leader line just keeps the bait from hanging in the wind. You gotta fire it out. It just keeps it kind of straighter. And a lot of times I won't use a split ring or a clip. I'll actually tie direct to the eye, and just because the braid's so loose in the water, the bait moves just like it has a split ring on it.
You go braid, fluoro, or mono?
Fluoro normally, shooter, that stiff shooter. But usually I use like 16. But any kind of good sniper will work. But I use heavier just so I can. Usually when I do that, I'm catching them really good, and I want to get them into the boat quick, and I'm using heavy leader material, and then just bigger, heavier hooks, like the double strong gummy short shanks or something, or the new hook we're coming out with. It's gonna be phenomenal. But that's usually I'm commercial fishing them basically. I'm trying to get them from point A to point B quick. So you just and you get them in, and as soon as you get out there again, they're biting again. When the bite's good. But most of the time, if it's a normal bite and you're catching 12 to 20 fish a day, I'll use like, depending how big they are and what you're fishing, what you're fishing, a Magnum or the small one. Anywhere from 8 to 12 I normally use, and in the summertime I use a lot of 14 and 16, this straight fluoro. And that's also for being able to move the bait good, but I don't always do that. It's just, I probably do the braid on a jerkbait maybe 20% of the time. But if they're smoking it and it's a really good bite and that's all you're doing all day, I pull the braid out. But a jerkbait for me most of the time is just like maybe 20% of the day I'm fishing it. It's not like an all-day deal. I'll use the fluoro, straight fluoro. It's just to save my arms. But like when you get really cold here in the winter and the spring, and the jerkbait, a lot of times they use 8-pound, and the fish aren't pulling really hard. They're doing kind of hard little runs, and they're stopping. You just kind of get them in kind of quick. And maybe they're over 30 feet, 20 feet of water, 15 feet, and you want to get your bait halfway to the bottom. You want to get my 110, I want to get down to 9 feet, which you can do on a long cast, on 7 or 8. I do use 7 or 8-pound fluoro a lot. But why not? I haven't had a problem breaking them off. It's just you got to fight them a little longer.